All right, let's talk about pressure. What happens when pressure enters into marriage? What happens when pressure becomes a part of the conversation in marriage? What happens? We're going back on the case study of Abraham and Sarah.
Yes.
And I didn't really want to single out one person, a guy, right, in this episode, but I think because again, she's not to blame. It's the circumstances, but really the focus is on Abraham and Sarah.
Yeah.
And how they allowed pressure.
Exactly.
She
didn't ask for it.
pressure
Yeah.
to push them into a decision that would ultimately be a disobedience to God and the Word of God and His promises for their lives.
Yeah.
That is what we're going to be talking about on today. Welcome back to my Darling Bride podcast with the Yemlos. On this podcast, we dig, discover, and deploy biblical gems for the building or rebuilding of kingdom homes and relationships.
Yes, we are on a mission to equip couples on how to build on a rock solid foundation,
Yes.
cultivate a culture of honor and respect, invest intentionally and consistently in your marriage or your relationship,
Yep.
defend your union, and lastly, empower one another towards purpose fulfillment.
This is where love meets legacy, but like we like to say, this is where real love meets real talk. We
Yes.
got a good one for you on today. Let's get it. All right, pressure in marriage, right? First of all, was Sarah wrong in acting the way she did, or she was just under pressure? Again, if you don't know the story, we got to go back a
Yes.
little bit now. Abraham and Sarah, God made them a promise. They're the father and the mother of faith.
Yes.
And they left a familiar place to an unfamiliar place, and God said it was going to make them fathers and mothers of nation, and they were going to have a promised child, right?
Yeah.
Of course, they were old in age. Medically, it was impossible.
Yeah.
Age-wise, it was impossible. But God said, and when God says,
Yeah.
it defiles all logic,
Yeah.
right? It goes beyond human ability, and it
Yeah.
goes into the supernatural. But again, they were human, and one thing led to another, and the promise looked like it was taking forever. It even got to a point where Sarah was laughing about it, right?
It just
'Cause
seems not
it just
realistic,
seemed, exactly.
right?
And so, out of the pressure to perform, or out
Tired of waiting.
right, the pressure of waiting on the promise, she came up with an idea that would end up being disobedience, right? She came up with the idea where she told her husband, look, the promised child, a child is a child, right? It's still, if it comes from you, it's still your child,
Yeah.
right? It could be anybody else. It's your seed. You know, maybe why don't you sleep with our maid and see if that would help us, move things faster? Was she wrong in doing that, or that was just her acting under pressure?
I don't want to say, I've looked at it the funny thing is we've had a conversation random times about different Bible characters when we talk about the women, and I've always said Sarah is not my favorite one.
Really?
I've said that before.
What you got against Sarah?
But you know what?
What you got against Sarah?
The more we discuss
What
this,
you got against Sarah?
I don't have, the funny thing is my baptism name is Sarah. So it's a very contradiction, but do you know what is funny? What's funny about it is the more we talk about this and the more we discuss this, I'm starting to put myself a little bit in her shoes to understand where she was coming from. I didn't like some of the actions she took, but when you kind of sit down and just think about it, it almost felt like, I don't think she was wrong. I don't want to say she's right or wrong, right?
Okay.
I want to take that out of the equation because unless you're in that situation,
You don't really know.
it's hard to really say this person is wrong. Yeah, we can say, okay, she was wrong because that's not what God told them to do, right? In that aspect, sure. But I think it was really more pressure to deliver. And it's almost like, based on the solution she gave of Abraham going to sleep with Hagar, it was like she looked at it as she was the problem. Do you understand? It's like, if you can sleep with Hagar and Hagar gets pregnant, then you're fine. It's really me that has some kind of fertility issue.
Right.
And I felt like that was pressure in and of itself.
But that is a self-inflicted pressure.
It is.
Right? And this is why in marriage we got to be careful not to put pressure that on ourselves that God has not put on us, right? Because first of all, what brings about pressure in marriage, right? What brings about pressure? What brings about the wife going to the husband and saying, do this, do that, putting pressure on yourselves, right? Number one, you want to take the place of God. It's always the first thing, because you don't want to wait. Patience has been eliminated.
Exactly. No more patience.
Now pressure has replaced the place of patience.
Exactly.
And so now it's like we have to perform. Says who? Right? Who said that you have to perform? And the moment you allow pressure to push you into action, you begin to move at a pace that God is not moving. And you begin to do things that God never endorsed for you to do. And that's why I don't like to operate from a place of pressure, because it makes me move at a pace that is contrary to God's pace. And I don't like that. You know?
And you know, a lot of times, like you said, it's most of the time the pressure is self-inflicted, right? Because sometimes people look at their surroundings, they look at what other people have, they look at the situation. I can imagine Sarah's friends are just popping out babies like it's nothing. You get what I'm saying? Her maids are probably having kids like it's nothing. So the pressure is like, I have to deliver. Like, why is it just me? And I felt like sometimes that's some of the things that can bring pressure, is too much comparing yourself to other people and putting yourself in situations that does not concern you. Person A's journey is different from person B's journey. You don't know what God has in store for you. You don't know what he has in place for you. Stop worrying about what the next person is doing. And a lot of times people put pressure on themselves because they're trying to keep up. They're trying to catch up. They're trying to meet the quota. You understand what I'm saying? So sometimes it's best to just don't pay attention to what's happening on your surrounding, because your journey is different from the next person.
Yeah. And another reason why we put pressure on ourselves as well is because we have not yet understood the importance of delayed gratification, right? And delayed gratification in that just because you can doesn't mean you should. Right? Just because I can afford a Bentley or a Rolls Royce doesn't mean I should, right? Because what does that mean for me right now? You know, can I afford it 2 times? Can I afford it 3 times? Then that's a different conversation, right? But if you have just enough to do this thing, and then you put pressure on yourself to do it, knowing the other side of that pressure is the consequences of that, right? And you still do it because you don't understand the principle of delayed gratification. And so in addition to what you were saying, a lot of times we try to perform or keep up with the Joneses. You know, we try to compare what they got going on and things like that. And we put this pressure on ourselves just to perform, not because we want it or we like it, but just because somebody else is doing it, we feel like we have to do it as well. And again, we also don't want to delay gratification. We want to grind ourselves up, prop ourselves up now when it's a 5-year 10-year timeline for that thing, but we want it right now, right? And so we got to be careful operating from a place of pressure, especially when it comes to marriage. Now, what happens? Go ahead.
I wanted to add something, right? Before we get to that question that you wanted to ask, in a way, I wanted to say, like, for me, it kind of changed my perspective a little bit on Sarah, and I kind of want to give her a little bit of grace, right? Because sometimes you have to think about it in this person's position. If she truly felt like she was the problem, right, then it can make sense why she started coming up with different ideas as to solve the problem, right? and it's easy to do that. It's very easy to say, oh, you shouldn't have done that unless you're in that position. Now, I want to say, this is why there's two of you, right? A man and a woman, husband and wife. My own question is, why did Abraham agree to that?
Hey.
Because the reason why I said that is because when somebody is in that kind of rut,
Yeah.
it's hard for them to be objective and to
Yeah.
think logically.
Yeah.
Especially thinking for something that serious, she's the problem.
Yeah.
So yes, she could suggest everything to kind of figure it out. Now, I feel like objectivity should have come in place with the husband because he might not have been feeling like it was a problem, or he probably wasn't even stressing as much as she was stressing. But he should have probably been a little bit of voice of reason in this situation.
You know, and I would say that question, right, is an interesting question, and it usually comes from women. Yes, because women don't understand the voice or the hold
Okay.
or the position they occupy in the life of the man.
Of the man. Okay.
The man lives to please. You know what I mean?
Okay.
There's no greater opposing voice to the man than the woman.
Okay.
Opposing voice from God, that is. There's no greater opposing voice from God for the man than the woman, his woman. You understand what I'm saying? Adam and Eve. God said, don't eat the fruits. Eve came from God knows where, gave him the fruits.
He ate it.
And he ate it.
Why did he eat it?
Abraham, I'm going to give you a child now. Sarah showed up with a great idea.
A great one. He's like,
and
sure.
he said, okay, let's do it. Right? Because, and that's where we as men got to be careful to not allow our women lead us astray. Now, you can take in opinions, commentaries. You can take in ideas.
You could discuss it together.
Different things like that. But you must always maintain the understanding that God has the final say, not my woman. If you don't, your woman is going to run circles around you. And I'm sorry to say, but this is the reality of most marriages where the woman comes to you, she's soft-spoken, she brings an idea to you, you sit there, you ruminate on it, you think about it. It sounds good, but again, does it sound God? And I think that's where the correlation has to always happen. This idea my wife just brought is a wonderful idea. It's a really good idea, but is it a God idea? And you always got to take it back to God to say, God, my spouse, my partner, my wife said A, B, C, and D. What do you have to say about this? And women, to our women out there, I would say to you, never put the pressure of decision making on your man in terms of you need an answer right here, right now. Like, give me time to go consult God. Give me time to think about it, pray on it before coming up with a decision. Now, this only happens, though, when the man actually has a true relationship with God.
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying? Where you can actually hear from God.
Yeah.
You know? And another thing, too, is in the spirit of pressure, when the question comes from the woman or when the pressure comes from the woman, for number one, allow him to talk to God and get answers and counsel from God and everything like that. Number two, be open-minded to whatever the outcome is. If he comes back to you and say, babe, we're not doing this right now, let that be that. Women, y'all are so, y'all can be manipulative in that. Where you get an answer, it's not necessarily the answer you're looking for. You begin to act vindictive, or you begin to act like, oh, I guess my voice doesn't matter in this house. You begin to give him problems because he made a decision that is now favorable to you. You begin to, even some women can go extreme now and start saying, well, if you're not doing it, I'm gonna do it. if you're not gonna do it, I'm gonna find somebody that will do it. Like there's so many different ways that a woman can go about just poking the husband until he just gives up and says, you know what, let's go ahead and do it. I'm gonna give you one example, right? I know a couple. They before they got married, the man had been married before, had children outside, and then met this other lady. She also had children outside and everything like that. Because he just kept having kids with multiple different women, he was like, you know what? I gotta do something. Like I can't keep popping out kids like that, right? So he did vasectomy. Vasectomy allows him to be intimate with a woman without getting her pregnant.
Yeah, it's a form of birth control.
It's a form of birth control for the man. It's not supposed to be permanent. You can't reverse it. But it's been so long that now he's married to this new lady. She also has kids that they came. So it's a blended family, right? But she wants a child with the two of them.
Right.
And he's of the mentality, we have so many kids already. I got kids from my previous marriages. You got kids from your previous marriage. Why don't we just, grow together and just raise these kids together and that be it? And she was like, no, I want a child from you, blah, 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 things like that. Okay. And this went on for years. The pressure of reversing the vasectomy, the operation, and the man was like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm afraid. They went to seek medical counsel and things like that. And the chances
after a
long time, a long time,
and
the chances of the reversal being dangerous is now higher. The risk are higher, the stake is higher, and it didn't make any sense to do it. It took God for the woman to let it go and not cause her marriage to break or cause the death of her husband. It took God and it took the man standing his ground like, no, this is not what we're doing. Now, if he had given in to that pressure, right, who knows what would have happened? Yeah. But that's what I'm saying.
It was risky.
Where we have to know when to push back on ungodly pressure, especially when it's coming from our significant other.
Yeah.
Understanding that the devil has a way of using our spouses against us. Yeah. We saw it in the instance of Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
In fact, you could even say it's the exact same thing that happened with Abraham and Sarah.
Yeah.
Why? How do we know? Because after they gave birth, the Hagar gave birth, Sarah was like, I don't want you anymore.
Exactly.
I want you gone.
Exactly.
And then she went to Abraham and said, you go fix that.
Fix it. Exactly.
What?
Exactly.
What?
You see what I was saying? You see what I was saying? What Sarah was like, girl, oh, side-eye.
She was like, you go fix that. You got to get her out of here.
That's the thing about pressure. When people act on pressure, it pushes them to feel like, okay, I have to do something now.
Now.
Now. And that's dangerous.
Yes.
Because if you're not in the right state of mind, if you're not thinking logically, if you're going based on your emotion, you're not thinking about the consequences, you will most likely, a good percentage of the time, make a decision that you look back on and be like,
sure,
I should have never done that.
Yeah.
I should have never done that. I mean, we've all been in situations like that.
Yeah.
We've all been in situations like that where it's like, oh, I kind of want to take that back. Because, you're so pressed. You're so eager. It's got to be done now. It just makes sense because pressure will make it look like what you're saying. It makes so much sense. I got to do it now. And it's like, once you're not finished doing it,
you open. Yeah.
That's exactly what happened with her. Go sleep with Hagar. She can't give you baby. It's the same thing.
And Abraham is like, you sure?
Abraham is like,
you sure?
Are you sure this is a good idea?
I don't mind, but are you sure?
She's like, go. A baby will come. We've been looking for a baby. Now he done slept with Hagar. And lo and behold, a baby did come. But guess what?
It's
It
not
ain't
the
her baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not the baby she was expecting.
Yeah.
So what now? Get out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So many wrong turns. Why? Because they were
allowed
under pressure.
Yep. Exactly. So what happens? What happens in marriages when we let pressure come in?
It forces you to try to act now.
It forces you to make
Hasty decisions.
rash decisions.
Rash decisions.
All right. It forces you to make rash decisions. What else?
It can turn you against each other. If Abraham was a different kind of man and he said, I'm not chasing her out. She has my child. Ha!
Yeah.
Voila, so.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to marry her because she got my child.
Yeah.
Who's going to fault him?
Yeah. Yeah.
I got to be responsible.
Yes.
It's my child.
Yes.
If he was that kind of man, now we have bigger issue in the house.
Yes. Yes.
It can turn couples against each other.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've heard of stories. We've seen stories, even in movies, TV. You've seen stories of people in situations like that when the pressure is not even just with childbearing, financial pressure, all kinds of pressure, outside third-party pressures would push couples against each other. Why? Because they let the pressure take over rather than the unity, rather than the peace, rather than the calmness, rather than the rational thinking. They let the pressure take over.
Yeah.
It can turn you against each other.
Yeah. Pressure can also push you to, for lack of a better word, it can also push people to an early grave. Pressure can push people to early grave.
Yes.
And the reason why I say it is because I've seen it. I've seen a man operate under marital pressure that he just took his own life after he couldn't keep up with it anymore. We've seen other instances where a young couple or a young man was pressured into marriage with the wrong person.
Yeah.
And in less than 5 years, the whole thing got destroyed. They scattered.
Yeah.
We've seen situations where pressure was put on a young boy in school to do A, B, C, and D. And the next thing you find out, he took his own life. Yeah. We've seen peer pressure, right, in communities, in schools, churches, where young girls are taking their own lives because of pressure. We've seen a man leave his entire family and never turn back, walked out on his whole family because the wife kept pressuring him. The daughters, the kids, dad, look at what this other person is doing. Pressure from right, left, and center.
Even to the point of the same thing, the point you just made, leading to death, where you've seen families kill each other off because of pressure.
When you let pressure enter into your marriage, you give pressure a voice in your home.
Power. It's dangerous.
You open up yourself to early grave. And that's why we got to be careful not to operate from the place of pressure. One thing I always tell my wife, whatever it is that we're doing, if it affects my peace, it's not worth it.
Forget about it.
Yeah, no. Forget about it. It's not worth it. If it affects my peace, because there's very little that I prioritize, that I put premium on as I do my peace of mind. If it affects your peace, it's not worth it at all. You know, when pressure pushes people into early grave, pressure causes them to turn against each other. Pressure breaks homes. It has a way of breaking homes.
It invites third parties
You
into
know?
their home too.
Exactly. Pressure also has a way of creating secrets on the home front. Because of the pressure to perform, you do things that you're not supposed to do and perhaps not even proud of.
Right. And then
Which in
hide it.
turn make you want to hide it
Yeah.
and keep it to yourself. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Plenty examples of that. Pressure is a marriage killer.
It is.
Pressure is a home wrecker. Pressure is the tool of the enemy that robs people
Yeah.
from the promise.
Yeah.
When God says he's going to do something, it's not your job to make it happen or to allow the pressure of performance to then bring about the promise.
The
Now,
promise.
good pressure. You could put pressure on God, and that's about it. Because there are times where the Bible tells you to remind him of the things he has promised you. So you could
There's a
pressure God,
difference. Yeah.
but that's about it. You don't put pressure on one another. You don't put pressure on your husband. You don't put pressure on your wife. You don't put pressure of performance on each other. Because this is not a performance-based marriage.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a performance-based relationship.
Yeah. I think people need to realize, in all honesty, when you've truly put it in God's hands and God has said, I will do this thing, it seems hard. We talked about it even last week. It seems difficult. The situation might not be easy in all honesty. But when you truly put it in God's hand, you don't have anything to worry about.
Yeah.
Just wait patiently.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to do it because it's like there's something in us that just makes us like itch. It's like we
You got
need to
the
have
itch.
it now.
Yeah.
The patience to just wait really messes with us. And sometimes you need to exercise that patience because it's always best.
Yeah.
It's always best. You avoid all these things we've talked about when you just patiently wait on God.
Yes.
That's the difference. Not just waiting aimlessly. You are waiting on God, meaning something is definitely going to happen. That's what it means. When you wait on God, it's not a wasted effort. You're not wasting your time.
Yeah.
It is going to happen in his own time. You just have to wait.
Pressure robs you of peace. Pressure can push people to early grave. Pressure can cause a break or turn you guys on each
Against
other, right? Pressure can destroy the home front, right? Pressure can force you to move at a pace that is out of alignment with God's pace, right? And not only can pressure rob you of peace, it can ultimately rob you of the promise.
Yes.
All right? That is all we have, unless you got something else you want to add.
No, that's everything.
All right. So what happens when pressure enters into marriage? That is all we have for today. I hope we've shared a tip or two to help solidify your kingdom union, not only with yourself, but also with others, and most importantly, with God on today.
Yes. Don't forget to like, share with your friends and family. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get notifications of all our posts and comment down below.
And until next time, hit the bit of light.
Be the salt.
And remember,
All things are possible if you believe. Bye.